The third thing, we're only on number 2. The third and final big thing that's going on within the astrology is the darkness happening within society to and for Mother Earth. To and for Mother Earth. That's the last thing. So we have the relationship part, we have the self-individual freedom, creativity part, and we have the darkness on Earth here. God bless her soul. Jackie and I were just talking about this, that there is darkness within the world. There's darkness within people, that there's good within all people, most people, I guess. And even so, that may not matter when it comes to the free will of what certain people have decided to do with their power, their money, their greed, their situations. And the reality of the situation is, and I hope that this has become crystal clear or becoming more crystal clear to everyone on this particular live stream, is that there's been dark forces, not so good people, not so good energy in the leadership that has governed this country and the world overall. And that those forces are coming to a head. They're becoming visible. They're showing themselves in clear daylight who they are, what they want, and where they're going. And you know why they're doing that? Because they don't think it's going to be a big deal. They don't believe that that is going to rile enough people up to actually fight back for change, to actually fight back for why we built this world and this country the way we built it, off of freedom, off of individual power, and off of good for all and opportunity for all, but through differences in who we are as we stand. That is not the system that's being promoted and not the energy that's being pushed forward. The energy that's being pushed and pulled forward is the energy of sameness for all, no lack of opportunity for all, and injustice for those who are truly evil versus those who are truly good. Okay? Straight up saying out loud, New World Order. Straight up saying by 2030, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Who's seen that commercial? In full daylight. Why? Because they don't think that that will be enough to actually threaten their system and their way of being. But I am here, and you are all here in this chat and in this live stream for a reason, because we disagree. At least I disagree, and I know many of you do. I can't speak for every single one of you here. And I'm not talking about politics. I'm not talking about left versus right, Democrat versus Republican. I'm not trying to split anything up anymore. I'm trying to unite. Meaning I see anyone on the left as my best friend, and I see everyone on the right as my best friend. Why? Because there's an aspect in all those people on the left, and there's an aspect of all those people on the right that are in me. Most people, I just saw a beautiful TikTok about this today, are in the middle. Most people are in the middle anyways, in terms of their political leanings. Most people disagree and agree on most of the same things. It's just the media that's told us that we don't agree on everything, on anything. So if you agree with that, then let us stand here now for continuing to keep our eyes open, number one, and to really feel into and to read the truth of what's happening, the situation of what's happening in the world, and most and firstly, to protect ourselves. And number two, to eventually fight back when the time comes. And I'm just going to say it because it needs to be said, but this is calling all of God's warriors and God's army to the table to do what we can now to realize who we are, really are, and where we are meant to be going and what we are meant to be creating. God's army. We must be willing to fight and be prepared to stand when the time comes. I'm not advocating violence. I'm not advocating any sort of action in this moment at all. What I am saying is we must be willing to push back against anything or anyone that wishes to instill a system that takes away the God-given rights of our soul and of humanity's essence, one of which is freedom. Yes, you are, Jackie. Okay? So that is number 3. And the way that it's being exposed in the astrology is through the food shortages. We're starting to hear more and more about this. Grocery stores going empty. Farmers being paid not to farm. Shipments of food not reaching where they're meant to be reached, or being blocked from being received in the ports and the destination. There's people who go live about TikTok on this stuff. And I'm not a reporter. I just watch a lot of the objective reporting, not the media, because that's brainwashing, but the objective reporting. And I see exactly what's happening and what some people in this world are trying to convince other people of, which is that there's all of a sudden not enough food, resources, oil, water, baby formula to go around, which is just complete and utter nonsense. Okay. But meanwhile, right, we can send $40 or $90 billion, I forget which one, forgive me, to Ukraine to fight a new endless war, which, by the way, Biden just proclaimed will take as long as it takes to support and continue to send weapons to Ukraine. Now, I understand, right, it's important to help others, but I also understand, after looking at what happened with Afghanistan, that the United States likes to be involved in situations where there's a never-ending war to produce this never-ending state of agitation or restlessness or high alert within its society. The exact same things that's happening in our own immune systems, by the way. Look at the autoimmune disorders and looking what some of the injections are causing within people. So it's this chronic state of agitation and restlessness that's being caused to create disorder, chaos, and divide. Yes? Externally and internally. So I bring all this up not to get into politics, although they're important, but I bring all this up to share. Don't let it pull you in. Don't let it fool you either. And begin to put the pieces together and to be prepared so you can be safe and secure when the time comes to be independent and free from any sort of system outside of you that wants to collapse or be forfeit by others who don't think it should be there anymore. Your food, your water, your shelter, your money, everything must be secured and independent, owned by you, created by you, eventually in time. And now's the time to start to prepare in that way. And we're getting the beginning stages of why that might be. But imagine what could be, and look at China if you need a reminder. Shanghai, the entire city locked down, dependent upon the government for resources, and only being given a small ration while some other people starve within the city. That's what happens when an entire city, an entire society is dependent upon one entity to provide resources for them. So this is just a heartfelt, heart-centered reminder that is and will be continuing to come into all of our awareness. It's in the astrology series, the planet of feminine bounty, fertility, abundance, and harvest. Food, literally the harvest. Lilith, dark, shadowy, jealous-oriented energy, and manipulative and elusive energy, with Mercury and the Sun, all conjunct during this full moon. So the Earth's storages, right, under attack or under the illusion of attack from shadowy forces, all meant to bring out this truth, this darkness to the light, Sun conjunct Mercury, so we can be aware and make changes, okay?